Good evening and welcome to our first edition of UBC News Tonight on this 29th day of December 2022. Before we delve into tonight's news bulletin, let's first take a look at the top stories of the night. In our headlines tonight, Museveni urges Kazo leaders to focus on improving household incomes. 2 dead, 1 critically injured in Kumi explosive tragedy. UPDF determined to control Ebola among its troops in DR Congo. And malaria still tops list of killer diseases in Uganda, Minister of Health says. Good evening once again and welcome to our first edition of UBC News Tonight. I'm LAURYN Kazimoto. Now we start off this newscast with Museveni has told the people of Chiruhura and Kazo to stop lamenting about bad roads in the districts as their cause of poverty, but instead focus on doing things that will improve their household incomes. President Museveni, accompanied by the First Lady, Mrs. Janet Kataha Museveni, met farmers and leaders of Chiruhura and Kazo districts at Nshwereche Primary School in Chiruhura, where he called on leaders at all levels to dedicate their energies on income-generating activities that will improve the livelihoods and families of the people they lead. Poor infrastructure, such as bad road network in the region, was among the issues raised by the woman Member of Parliament for Chiruhura District, Honorable Jovenis T. Renduru, which the President believes is necessary but not an impediment to improving household incomes. He noted that good roads have been constructed in many parts of the country to ease transport of goods and services, but they're instead being misused to dry cassava and maize. The President was happy to learn from Reverend Samuel Mugisha, the Kazo LC5 chairperson, that out of the 35,000 households in the district, 67% are involved in commercial farming, while 33% in subsistence farming, most of them with small pieces of land. He advised those with small pieces of land to venture into activities like poultry and zero grazing that do not require much land. Chiruhura District LC5 Chairman Dan Mukago Rutetebia thanked the President for setting up a regional hub for skilling youth in different fields to fight unemployment. He, however, expressed the need for a district general hospital in order to improve health services.
Okubanza mbesere omugani wakotaba nokujaguza.
Two children have been killed and another critically injured by an explosive in Kinapa village in Kanapa sub-county in Kumi district. According to preliminary reports, the miners picked a black polythene bag containing an explosive from Francis Okaji's compound, a UPDF veteran. The deceased have been identified as 2-year-old Dina Acham and Josephine Ingolet, aged 5 years, while the injured is Emmanuel Epaja, aged 7 years. Acham died on spot while Ingolet died on her way to the hospital. May their souls rest in peace. Now, Mountain Division Medical Officer Captain Dr. David Okello has assured Uganda People's Defense Forces soldiers operating in the eastern DR Congo not to worry about the Ebola outbreak. Captain Okello said they have put in place safeguard contingency measures in case the epidemic strikes in the areas where UPDF is operating under Shuja in DR Congo. We have more in this report.
UPDF-trained medical personnel who can respond fast in case soldiers operating in Eastern DR Congo catch Ebola. Under SOJA, they established a medical camp to give medical care to soldiers and civilians who cannot access medical facilities in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo.
The outbreak of the Ebola, which is going on in countrywide now, has declared an outbreak. With the troops in the DRC, President SOJA, we have managed to at least deploy in each unit, at least we have medical personnel who are qualified and skilled.
Captain Dr. Daniel Okelo is the Mountain Division and Operations SOJA medical officer.
We're equipped to manage any situation of Ebola. We have the ETU at Mohoti, that's the unit quarter. We have those old safety cabinets, we have those harbors. We are ready to combat it, though we haven't got any case yet.
The communities in most part of Eastern DR Congo cannot access health facilities. Armed conflict has consistently damaged the country's ability to improve the healthcare facilities for years.
Ebola issue, we maintain the SOPs, unnecessary movements prohibited, people are always in the jungle. We carried out what we call preventive vaccination against Ebola. That's Ebola Zaire. Though in Mbale we have Ebola Sudan. In Kampala we have, I think, both the Ebolas as per today, as reported. So we haven't really got any case of Ebola among the soldiers or in the Mountain Division area.
After a sigh of relief in some parts of the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, UPDF medics embarked on offering civil military services near their military forward operation base. UPDF medics conduct medical outreach programs in areas of Malaria, Kalembo, Bulongo, respectively.
We also vaccinated our counterparts, the FADAC forces, which are working conjointly with them. And still among them also, we haven't got any report about it. The last case we had was, I think 6 months ago, which was in Beni, of a 10-year-old. But up to date, we haven't got anything as per now, up to date, yes. Yeah.
Health care in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo is not guaranteed to all Congolese citizens. This is due to long-lasting poverty and lack of healthcare efficiency in some part of the Eastern DR Congo. Haruna Mtesasira, UBC News.
Thank you, Haruna. Now, despite remarkable success in the global fight against malaria over the past 2 decades, the disease remains a threat to millions of people in Africa, which accounts for 95% of global deaths. In our special report, our reporter Zahara Bigaba looks at the endemic of malaria, strides that government has taken over the years in the fight against the deadly disease in the country.
Malaria is a life-threatening disease caused by parasites that are transmitted to people through bites of infected female Anopheles mosquitoes. It is preventable and curable. In 2020, there were an estimated 241 million cases of malaria worldwide, and the estimated number of malaria deaths stood at 627,000 in 2020. The World Health Organization states that African region carries a disproportionately high share of the global malaria burden. In 2020, the region was the home to 95% of malaria cases and 96% of malaria deaths. Children under 5 accounted for about 80% of all malaria deaths in the region.
Malaria cases were 11.3 million in 2021. However, this year, 2022, 14.3 million people have already got malaria. In 2021, a total of 2,773 people died of malaria. As of October 2022, a total of 2,489 have already died. So the people who are dying from malaria are almost as many as the ones who died from corona.
It's at about number 8 in terms of mortality. And in terms of disease burden, we are number 3. I think Nigeria is number 1. But if you compare the ratios, population to case ratio, then ideally we should be number 1 because Nigeria has a much bigger population than Uganda. I think they are probably over 100 million. And we are 44 million people, but 12 12 cases. That means that's about between a third and a quarter of the population gets malaria.
In Uganda, overall malaria deaths reduced from 45,764 in 2000 to 21,699 in 2020. However, there has been resurgency in the past 5 years, with the cases increasing from 16,198 in 2015 to 21,699 in 2020. Children and pregnant women are at the high risk.
There was the spraying of wars. What happened to that? You tell us, Jane.
Your Excellency, indoor residual spraying is still ongoing in eastern Uganda and northern Uganda. However, there is a challenge that the current chemicals that we are using, the mosquitoes became resistant to them. So we have ordered other chemicals to use, and we still continue to spray.
There is an urgent need for new partners in the fight against malaria, which continues to affect millions of people in Africa. Despite decades of progress, it remains one of the continent's deadliest diseases. Malaria has an overwhelming toll on economic productivity, business cost, and human capital development, making it a top priority for the government of Uganda.
Particular study that's going on, and that is what we call gene drive. Gene drive means we are trying to target at eradicating the mosquito, because we all know that malaria is spread by the female Anopheles mosquito. Now, gene drive means you're manipulating the genes of the female Anopheles mosquito so that we have more males in population as you weed out the female. Because malaria is spread by the female Anopheles mosquito, not the male Anopheles mosquito. So that is being tried out in Malawi, in Uganda, in Tanzania, and in, I think, Burkina Faso as well. It's still at the trial stage. Preliminary results seem promising, but we think that we shall be able to fully launch it by around 2030. So,
for application for Uganda, the first grant, we have put the expression of interest. We are expected to give the final application to Gavi by January. So we are in time. All drafts are made. It is undergoing consultations and approvals. But we shall be implementing this vaccination not as malaria program, but as a sector utilizing the immunization program. It is fitting in the UNEP program. It will be the 13th vaccine on the routine immunization.
Did well on the parameters, having commitment from the president, having commitment from members of parliament, but the gap now is translating it to the district, and thank God for parish development model, strategic pillar 4, where we have social services sector. So health is there. We will not only address malaria, but we'll be addressing the issue of health resilience in Uganda.
Unfortunately, malaria attracts limited attention, and funding has stagnated in the recent years. The World Health Organization estimates that an extra $10 billion is needed to implement national strategic plans for malaria control in 30 African countries over the next 3 years, again underscoring the importance of private sector engagement.
The biggest chunk of our malaria budget is donor funded. I think of the $150 million that are needed for the management of malaria, I think 90% is donor funded, both for the medication, the laboratory consumables. We're talking about the rapid diagnostic kits.
So finance and the PSSD, we discuss issues of financing for malaria. If you say you're putting over 1 trillion in parish development model, but people are dying. Because parish development model is targeting the poor, 39%. But those are the same people malaria is targeting. Malaria is not targeting Ebola. No. I can, even this you're spraying, I can afford it myself. So whereas we are targeting, uplifting people out of poverty, you can only uplift people who are healthy.
This year, Uganda experienced an epidemic of malaria in selected regions across the country. The increased cases were reported in the selected districts of Bukedia, Busoga, Lango, Acholi, Toro, and Westline regions for the period of 8 months. The most affected districts were Namutumba, Kibuku, Butaleja, Budaka, Butebo, Bujiri, Bugweri, Buyende, Iganga, Jinja City, Palisa, Kaliro, Kamuli, Luka, Mayuge, Namayingo, and Tororo. Others include Ankole, Toro, and Kigezi, with a test positivity rate of over 30%. The Ministry of Health developed and disseminated a national response plan to curb the increased number of cases and mortalities in the affected districts. It disbursed a total of 1.2 billion to 55 districts to support case management and surveillance. The World Health Organization is also concerned about more recent reports of drug-resistant malaria in Africa. Regular monitoring of drug efficacy is needed to inform treatment policies in malaria epidemic countries and to ensure early detection of and response to drug resistance.
Now we have already some emerging evidences, early evidence that there are actually signs of drug resistance to the artemisinin combination therapy. So there is a very strong surveillance going on by the National Malaria Program, as I learned, already recognizing that like 3 countries have already reported and demonstrated that there is already going on, evolving drug resistance. So there is need to be a very strong fight against this resistance as well.
Zahara Abigaba, UBC News.
Oh.
MTN Radio Fema Tusako Garubo January Wakamwesi Kaneze Chebando Pizzas Bebeko Lady Shiba Karoji Drop it up to Joe Vivian Tendo Mariachi Abakadu Kamuga Bakule Bedwamo Lord Fred Sebata Kugena Wamo Tuaro Kumo Kuyingira Balikema Konko Nendogo Kume Pirabidi Mwesatu Hakujimine Garubo January Balikwa Kamwesi Kaneze Chebando Chuma Chabalam Sound Biti Udomo Sente MTN Radio 4 and Susie.
It's our mission to secure your money.
Protecting your money is as important as earning it. It is for this reason that the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda, DPF, was established by the government of Uganda to provide deposit protection to customers of regulated financial institutions. In the unlikely event that your commercial bank, credit institution, or microfinance deposit-taking institution fails, the DPF will pay you up to 10 million Uganda shillings. Keep your personal information such as national identification number, mobile phone, or an alternative bank account updated with your banker. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, contact DPF at Aha Towers, Plot 7 Lodell Road, Kampala. Call 0312-206-400 or visit our website at www.dpf.or.ug.
We are the DPF. We protect your money. Protection Fund of Uganda.
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Yes, hello? This is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Calling you from the mobile service center.
Okay. So how can I help you?
Well, we have noticed a few things wrong with your number and need your mobile money PIN.
Ton Ferrer, never give out your password or PIN to any caller. Your mobile service provider will never call or ask for your personal details. If in doubt, go to your nearest phone service center.
This message is powered by UCC, MTN, Airtel, Bank of Uganda, and NPSP Association.
Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Mold Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704 913 399 or 0782 602 963. Visit our office in Kampala at Sayuni Complex in Tinda. Mold Technologies, your professional research firm.
Paying for groceries the old way.
3, 4, yeah.
Allow me.
Paying for groceries with the My Airtel app. You have the power in your pocket. The power to conveniently pay for goods and services. Unlock that power with the My Airtel app. Visit the App Store or Google Play now.
That's my wife.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Mbale and Jinja.
It's super fast internet. Oh, it's a super camera. It's a super battery.
Phone battery full.
Yeah, it's a super deal. Get the Capote Super from MTN now at a reduced initial deposit of only 49,000 shillings and pay the balance in Pola for as low as 833 shillings per day. Grab this Super Capote deal this Christmas and get 2 GB of free MTN data every month for 8 months. Get the Capote Super now from any MTN shop countrywide. Everywhere you go, MTN. Regulated by UCC.
Hi, my name is Pastor Jackson Senyonga. I want to invite you to this year's national celebration right here at Christian Life Church. We will pray for you. We believe God for you to get a big, huge story in 2023. We have been occupying 2 places in Kololo and at Christian Life Church. This time around, we are only at Christian Life Church, 3 miles away from Kampala, right here in Bombo Road, Makerere, Kavule. Come, because we have expanded the place so greatly, we now have the capacity to host the national celebration in one place. May God bless you. We look forward to seeing you there.
Welcome back from that break. Now, a section of NRM cadres have come out to object the notion that children and relatives should always have a leeway to replace their deceased kins in politics. Now, this comes shortly after some NRM leaders were seen and heard publicly declaring support for Emmanuel Omoding, the son of late Patrick Okabe, in the looming by-elections for Serere County parliamentary seat. Now, according to one Matua Job Richard, this move will set a wrong precedence of hereditary politics, yet there's no evidence whatsoever that politics ability is a one-size-fits-all. Take a look.
Very soon, residents of Serere County in Serere District will go to polls in search for a member of parliament following the demise of Patrick Okabe, who perished in a road accident mid this month. Already, preparations to have Okabe's son, Emmanuel Omoding, take up the seat are on, with key figures in the NRM party publicly expressing support for him. To some people, this is a wrong turn, considering that Okabe's son is neither an NRM member nor an active politician. The argument is that This move does not only threaten the survival of the ruling party, but creates cracks in the country's democracy as a whole.
How dare can NRM try to support a different person instead of the flag bearer? What will they do for the flag bearer? What kind of injustice is this? What kind of unfairness? Now we are going into a politics where the father dies, the son or daughter want to replace the father. Very soon we shall have a bishop whose son is a reverend claiming to replace the bishop, because we have now set a precedent that parents are replaced by their children. A dirty politics we should not go into.
It is wise to note that the late Patrick Okabe was in Parliament on an independent ticket after he parted ways with the NRM when he lost the party primaries to one Philip Awuchor.
So what are the legal grounds for NRM party to support that person? On what grounds? When we have a flag bearer who is still alive and is very strong. The flag bearer won in the primary election by 18,000 votes.
Matua was at the NRM party secretariat where he had gone to petition the Secretary General, Richard Dodwong.
The purpose of the petition is to remind the Secretary General, who is the administrative head of NRM, of the constitutional demand of NRM party to support the flag bearer, and to request him to show fidelity to the law.
Also petitioned is the NRM chairman, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Dorcas Kimono, UBC TV News.
UNRA is in the spotlight for shoddy works carried out on a bridge that connects Busamaga in Mbale to the rest of the city. The bridge was rehabilitated by UNRA following a flood that damaged it, paralyzing transport in the area. Barely a week after rehabilitation, the bridge has collapsed. The resident city commissioner, John Rex Achila, has pledged to engage the UNRA engineering team to ensure quality work.
This bridge is not so good like you can see. We have been affected for some months now. We've not used this road for some time. But when UNRA came in to put these culverts here of metal, it has not even taken 1 week. It is broken down again. People have cars, but they park them. They don't even pass here. It is even risky for these borders.
Neka tolutindo lunabayi nulange bazi ne balukola ko tebatwadde na wiki yabadde wiki emu yokka ne bateekawo ne bagamba olutindo lwetwadde olulifit naye olutindo tolumaze nakumala wiki enkuba ngo yakubyemukko motoka ali eyayiseeko motoka ey'amanda okuba yayiseeko bweti ne lubeera nga olukamu oluvannyuma piki okuyita lwakanze lumu ne lugwamu kati singa omuntu yabadde oba omuntu singa abadde bali kujja imagine ku motoka kyandibadde kitya
ky'omukisa omubi abaaza okugamba nti bakola oluguudo ate baazeewo ne bateekawo ebigoma bye baataddewo tebina kye busobola okukola banka biteekangawo nnaku nga 5 ekuba likoze eki liguddemu.
The culverts that were put here just recently, the middle one has broken in already. So this has not taken even 2 weeks. It is down again. We urge the government to rescue us from this.
Katuwetagisa kuzimba obuzimbibwa kwegamba amazzi bagawe gap naye kati binaka bino lwamu batese bitono ku mazzi agali wano kati mbadde nsaba gavumenti ereete bali abazimbi benyini abawunula kwegamba bajje bazimbe luzimbe amazzi gayitewo.
Gavumenti yo mutuufu etuyambe ejjo bino ebintu byeyaleese tukole oluguudo oluli permanent tuzimbe oluguudo nga lwa nkokoto batusobola okuyiwa obusawo bwa simenti baleete obusawo bwa simenti tuyiwe slab tukole oluguudo nga lwa byuma.
They have done some shoddy work to the point that they opened this road before completion, before the end of the bridge was formulated and before proper compacting was done. And now these culverts have given way because people started driving on top of it, including vehicles which were carrying heavy material, building material. I'm only happy that it has broken at this time when everybody was seeing. Otherwise, there are likely going to be very terrible accidents here. It's a very dirty work done by UNRA, and that's a shame to government. So we would like to call them quickly. I have called the engineer. He must save this situation other than spoiling the name of government.
Minister for Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Monica Musenero, wants industrial parks in Uganda equipped with the standard firefighting systems to respond to fire accidents. She emphasized this while on a visit at Grace Foam Factory in Sino Industrial Park, Mbale, that caught fire recently. The minister observed that the park lacked fire hydrants. We have more in this report.
Last week, fire gutted Grace Foam Factory at Sino Industrial Park, Mbale, and erased the whole factory to ashes, rendering over 700 workers jobless. This tragedy prompted the Minister for Science, Innovation and Technology, Dr. Monica Musenero, to visit the park to ascertain the extent of the damage.
All like that. I need the government to support. They're here also the some girl here, the workshop.
Dr. Musenero was overwhelmed by the state of the damaged factory.
The machines that were used in that industrial production, plus the workshop where the tailoring was being done, and then the storage for finished products that were being made from here. All that was gutted, including the factory line for making the mattresses. It was all the very expensive equipment has been turned to really useless scrap. Most of it, what I see, the amount of scrap in this area is huge, huge, huge.
The minister observed the need for the factory to be empowered by standard firefighting equipment like fire hydrants and fire brigades so as to respond to fire outbreaks.
The fire started at night, and such a fire, you have foam, you have chemicals, you have so many things fueling it. It can spread very fast. So the internal fire hydrant system becomes quickly useless. The fact that we didn't have water outside, the fire hydrant points are not there. I haven't seen. They were there inside the factory, but they are not outside. So even the trucks, when they come here, they won't be able to recharge quickly. Now that we have such mega industries, we are going to rethink even our support systems.
The Mbale City Resident Commissioner John Rex Achila commended Dr. Musenero for her visit at the park, adding that through her report, the government is set to respond basing on an informed point of view.
The scenario of what happened here, and therefore the president will have also an information of what happened, and cabinet in totality will have an opportunity to look at what has happened in Mbale Industrial Park and be able to make its contribution. Of course, you also know for sure that whenever there is disaster in the family, there is nobody who is happy about it.
KCCA enforcement officers have demolished a building that was under construction on William Street, downtown Kampala. The assistant spokesperson KCCA, Robert Kalumba, said it was an illegal structure being constructed in an alley without approval from KCCA.
Thursday morning, KCCA enforcement team stormed downtown Kampala William Street to demolish a structure that was still under construction next to SS Plaza. This brought business to a standstill in this place as people on different arcades and passers-by stopped to witness the exercise. The assistant spokesperson KCCA, Robert Kalumba, said they were tipped off by their street team, went on ground to investigate and discovered the building was not approved by KCCA.
A structure on an alley. He put up a structure on an alley and we could not allow that. An alley is used by motorists, by cyclists, by very many different people. We cannot allow someone to put up a structure.
Kalumba urges developers to always go through the right channels.
Offices available. We have physical planning offices, we have engineering offices. All the people are willing to help all these developers to do the right thing. Permission, but most times these people don't need permission. In most cases, the cases we have handled as cases here, these people actually go ahead and do and put up. You write a letter, you meet the manager on the site.
The City Executive Minister for Works and Physical Planning, Kiza Hakim Saula, said this developer first put containers in this place, which were temporary structures, and now he had started building a permanent structure which they will not allow.
Imagine someone who comes and just put up a structure in the middle of the road without an approval, sending a warning message to all those who are constructing in Kampala that whoever is constructing illegally without a development permit, without a building permit, without an occupation permit, we are coming for you. Better display. Actually, I want to tell them that as you are leaving your structure, make sure that you leave behind a copy of those documents. Otherwise, this tendency of saying, me, I'm the contractor, the document are with the owner of the place, that will not work. We are coming for you.
According to Hakim, Kampala has about 4,000 illegal structures which they are investigating, and they have now started an operation to get rid of such structures in all the 5 divisions of Kampala. I'm Navka Farida and Deborah Namamonde in Kampala.
Now, with an aim of increasing food security and fighting hunger in the country, security operatives have adopted a food and animal feed security program. Security operatives, including police, Uganda Prison and UPDF, are now involved in growing maize, soya beans, sorghum and other food crops. For UPDF, it has invested in veterans to spearhead the move, and in this line, they avail them with seeds, funds, among other farming necessities.
This soybean plantation is situated on over 700 acres at Kata in Mbale district and is managed by Mountain Elgon Veteran Circle. This is one of the farms where the Army has vested in veterans through their associations to increase on food security and to fight hunger in the country under the Food and Animal Feed Security Program. Under the scheme, veterans are provided with funds as startup capital ranging from 70 million, seeds and farming equipment.
The program started late, but nonetheless you can see the effort they put in. We expect that they should be able to make a contribution to the overall national objectives on food and animal feed strategy.
Aiming at getting good yields, some veterans have embraced a variety of farming methods, among others crop spacing, as they explain.
It's called Rhizobia japonicum, which enables our legume or the soybean to put on more nodules which support the crop to grow with vigor.
This maize sector was planted by use of mechanization with planters and tractor, whereas sorghum sector we used broadcasting method because of the time and the texture of the soil.
We started this program as early as 2019, but with the effort of the government, it has promoted us to this level where we have reached.
Veterans from Mountain Elgon are not only the beneficiaries of the project, but also a Park District Veteran Commercial Agriculture Circle that is growing maize on over 100 acres.
We have received the fertilizers. Apart from fertilizers, we have received the chemicals for spraying, and you can see the maize is doing very well.
What the government is doing now, I think there's going to be a lot of achievement in relation to the output. But this one, I think there is uniqueness with it. The approach is so good because it is inclusive of everyone.
Bukedea District Circle, with over 500 members, is also involved in this program, and they deal in maize farming on 30 acres of land.
We appreciate on what they have done so far. They have given us fertilizer, pesticides.
The project is good, and I hope if given an opportunity and we are prepared early, this will be a paying project.
It's also increase on the number of jobs created alongside the food value chain for the veterans.
In order to bridge the gender inequality gap, women are also involved. However, heads of the project expressed concern regarding the number of women involved in this program.
let's embrace this project. This project is to improve our level best, our livelihood, our children, so that we promote, we pay their school fees. Nene project hiyo ngabo yajja okulakulane mulekwa namwandu nawe veteran yalwana ngagu. Obubaka bwempa abakyala abali mu district ezitwetoolodde wano mu Uganda kwe kwejjamu obutayagala kukola.
UPDF is also directly part of this arrangement, and in Kabamba Army Farm situated in Mbale district, they have maize on over 1,812 acres, including sorghum on 691 acres.
The first planting of sorghum was on 13th October, and we ended on 25th October. What I'm expecting, we are going to get high yield, depending on what I'm seeing. Yeah, though we are disturbed by nature, rain, which washed away some.
However, there are some obstacles faced by farmers, which are likely to affect the yielding process.
The seeds and all these other things were given to us late. And that's why I'm now emphasizing that at least next season we should be ready. Our target for next year, we intend to have 3,000 acres of land under maize production.
It would be better we plan ahead and prepare with machinery. Because when we moved around, some of these veteran circles have distant farms.
And although we want a maize processing machine which can at least help us to do better.
Among other challenges is climate change and lack of some farming equipments.
We have wild animals, pigs, these porcupines. We also have the problem of these herdsmen. They normally they graze around our garden.
The sunshine is always too much in this area. If we can have some water pump, because the source of water is nearby, but we can pump water and start waiting the gardens.
Government, etuyambe waba itaka ya government. Ngayibanga tiri mu district yaffe. Fe tuli besimbo genda yo ne tutekayo ensisira.
UPDF has, however, put in place some mechanisms to address these challenges.
The pests they have talked about, I've spoken with the agronomists. It says these are essentially in because of late planting and because of the element of drought. But as you can see, they are busy spraying and dealing with the pesticide issue. The drought element, we have improvised some small irrigation system that they are using in a mobile way to cover heavily affected areas.
Mutiwa Moses, an agronomist with Mountain Elgon Veteran Circle, tips farmers on what is required to ensure good yields during the time of harvest.
They need more extension service or training. At least every circle, let it have a demonstration plot where we can demonstrate how a particular crop is grown.
If this project is to make a very good name in this country, they have to engage in the element of the implements, especially in relation to opening the land.
This was disclosed during peer-to-peer learning visits by veterans involved in the Food and Animal Feed Security Program. On some of the farms, most farmers will start harvesting come January.
We need to get the taplings, because if we don't have the taplings, then the quality of the seeds we're going to produce is going to get spoiled. When the crop does well, we expect about 10 bags per acre or 8 bags per acre.
The Food and Animal Feed Security Program is embraced by other UPDF sister security operatives like police and prisons by growing a variety of food items for food security in the country. Rebecca Natongo, Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but we return after these messages.
The festive season is here and it's Christmas in 4G from Airtel. Get the most affordable 4G smartphone in Uganda, now heavily discounted from 250,000 shillings to 150,000 shillings only. Yes! 150,000 shillings only to keep you connected to your loved ones this holiday season.
Dial *175*94# to activate free 1 GB instantly and 100% double data on all weekly and monthly bundles for 3 months. Get one today while stock lasts from the nearest Airtel shop. Happy holidays this festive season with Airtel, the smartphone network.
It's true what people say, that when I wash and you wash your hands with soap, we'll have less infections as Ugandans. After all, it's hands that handle money. It's hands that feed us. Hands that prepare soil for farming. Hands that we use to learn. And hands that we use for fun.
When I wash and you wash, it means clean hands for all. So, wash your hands with soap and clean water regularly to keep away infections and disease-causing germs. This message is from the National Hand Washing Secretariat with support from UNICEF.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Mbale and Jinja.
The Uganda Small Scale Industries Association USSIA is a business member organization for micro, small and medium industrialists that has been in existence since 1979 with over 10,000 members and 16 regional offices countrywide. USSIA's core purpose is to enhance competitiveness through development, promotion, policy and advocacy for micro, small and medium enterprises. Find us at USSIA Building, Umasho Grounds, Lugogo, or call us on 0414 574 527, 0774 130 454, or 0782 173 086.
Over the years, we've dreamed to get onto the world stage. We've had that dream crushed. We've witnessed a total defeat of what could have been our greatest moment. We've felt our spirits go up, only to take a hard fall. We've had our fires burn out and leave only scars. We've seized the wind and had it pulled from our grasp. We've seen pain and we've seen loss of the last fragments of hope. But we are made of resilience, and resilience never stops dreaming. So we will dream even bigger with the Cranes Cup Bowl 2026. Together, let's take Uganda to the next FIFA World Cup.
Together, let's take Uganda to the next FIFA World Cup. For every Now Special you buy, we will give 50 shillings to the Uganda Cranes 2026 fund. You will also get the chance to choose how the Cranes Cup Bowl contributions are spent. Now Special, official beer of the FIFA World Cup and official beer partner of the Uganda Cranes.
Alcohol is not for sale to persons under 18. Please drink responsibly.
Welcome back from that break. And now into more news. At least 10 people were killed in a road accident at Choko village in Lwengo district when a lorry from Masaka Tumbara slipped and collided with two other vehicles, a Mark II UAP 126A and a minivan of Chisoso Parents Primary School UBJ 084N. Now, it is believed that the accident was caused by reckless driving by the truck driver, and according to eyewitnesses, the accident took place at 1:30 p.m.
Atenga yetise kati waliwo kakamunya k'ekisoso kale kabadde kava eno ku lw'Kinoni ku lw'Embalala akagenda Masaka. Kati sipiidi tulera gyebaddeko drive emulemeredde. Kati yabisa omupiira ekivudde mu kwabika omupiira n'esooka ekuba kamunya k'ekisoso ne kagwa eri. Ekireeta obuzibu kana obubenje bwa wano ndiima wano wakagwawo bwenje bulinga buna naye nga ndiima
ekirwa mu kkoona lino dene ate wano kiko kati emmotoka bw'eba eva eri terengera muntu emmotoka ekyekola ki ejja eno ate n'ebyuma wano bateekewo ebyuma bingi kubanga wano wabi nnyo.
Abantu bangi bafiiriddewo buli kaseera wafiirawo kumpi buli myezi 2-3-5 naye nga gavumenti etuyambe koona nalina eriyambe erikendeeza erijjewo
be bafuba abatwera okusiga babeera mu makubo kuno balabye ddala ng'emmoloka endala bwana bavuga emmoloka nga ne baba embeera ezitankalanye mutalina ngeri gyayinza gisibamuko.
This accident has so far claimed 9 bodies which we have confirmed and 12 others are injured and are in Masaka Referral Hospital. Out of the dead bodies, there are some 3 who are still stuck in the truck. Most accidents are human error. There are very few accidents which arise from vehicle condition. They are there, I can't deny them, but human errors is the biggest cause of accidents. Whoever knows he drives or uses the road, please use the road carefully.
Bakyala kufuddeko omukyalo omu nga bakamutuusa wano kyebadde tunabaako kikukoze n'afa era maiti ye bagitutte mu mokyali. Kwabo omubaddemu omwana omu omuto mulenzi nga wa myaka 2.
May their souls rest in peace. Now, fish farmers have described this year as one of the hardest years for their industry as costs of feeds escalated more than double. One of the farmers from Ishaka municipality in Bushenyi district, Justice Muhanji, says a bag that used to cost about 70,000 2 years ago now costs more than 100,000. While at his farm, the Minister for ICT, Dr. Chris Badiomunsi, appealed to government to start making fish feeds locally so as to regulate the prices. Philip Aguta was in Bushenyi and now reports.
A businessman, Justice Muhanji, whose farm is located in Ishaka municipality in Bushenyi district, has been in fish farming for about 6 years now.
I was motivated, I was educated because every time I listen to the president message, he has been talking about fish farming. I had no passion, so I developed a passion.
He started it with 1 pond, and after realizing that it was lucrative, he has expanded the ponds to over 5 now. He says he had initially invested about 150 million shillings, and in the last 6 years, he has recouped his money.
I started with that. But that was excavating, that was piping, that was the entire area. But I have a fish pond, which I started only by using less than 1 million. 1 million, it is there.
However, he says the years after COVID-19 pandemic that saw almost price of every commodity escalated affected the fish farmers most.
The only request I need from the government is to see how we can get these fish feeds cheaper. And I hope every fish farmer is facing that challenge, because a bag before 2019 it was less than 70,000, but now a bag is 120. And the prices of feeds, actually they have stagnated, the prices, they have gone down a little bit, and the price of fish feeds, they have gone up. So the profits are taken in buying the feeds. That is otherwise, if it was not feeds, really I have a plan to go into total massive of investment in this fish farming. So the main challenge are the prices of feeds.
The Minister for ICT, Chris Badiomunsi, who visited Muhanji's farm, assured the farmer that the government is aware of the challenge of high cost of fish feeds and has plans already to make feeds locally as a way to reduce on the cost of feeds.
Fish feeds, true, we know it as government because the feeds currently are imported from Europe especially, and they become very expensive. However, there are some local entrepreneurs who have started now manufacturing the feeds. We have now passed a law on fish feeding, and we are now going to encourage and support our local Ugandans to start making and manufacturing and mixing these feeds so that the cost can become affordable.
The minister commended the youthful Muhanji for having ventured into farming, a business most youth and elites hate. Philip Aguta, UBC News in Busheni.
Event organizers are in preparations to welcome the new year. Balam Barugahara, the city events organizer, notes that they have already acquired security clearance to welcome the new year with fireworks.
As the year comes to an end, event organizers have organized for end-of-year crossover celebrations across the country. MTN Uganda has partnered with different event organizers to organize end-of-year festivities. Event organizer Balam Barugahare, during a press conference at MTN headquarters, revealed the preparations to welcome the new year. Balam says clearance has already been acquired from security organs for end-of-year fireworks light that will last for 20 minutes at Kampala Sheraton Hotel.
I would also like to invite everyone to come. We shall have the longest fireworks display in Kampala. It's approved. You saw on the list, Sheraton was #1. So Sheraton has been given a special status because it is near the president's residence. We shall have 20 minutes of display. Other areas will not exceed 7 minutes. So I would like to thank Uganda Police and government for thinking the tallest future in Kampala should have more time.
CBS Nkuka will also mark this year's celebrations with different performing artists at Buganda Kingdom during the end-of-year celebrations.
Give opportunity to the average person to enjoy a helicopter ride. That is something we are going to do. So whoever has not flown or whoever is willing to fly again, this is an opportunity. It will be right there in Nkuka. We are working with one of the aviation companies that are going to provide a helicopter in that regard.
On the same note, Christian born-again pastors have called upon Christians to convene for end-of-year prayer crossover, which will be held at Chambogo University grounds and Old Kampala Secondary School respectively. Pastor David Chiganda and Pastor Joseph Serwada appealed to masses to end the year in places of worships and disassociate themselves from acts that are not godly.
We do this, #1, I've already mentioned that, to give Ugandans an opportunity to end the year in a better way, but also to start another one in a good way. There is no better way of starting a year like starting it when you are before God.
It is indeed a born-again faith event. And because it is a born-again faith event, it's open to all born-again pastors and bishops and leaders to hold it. Because there is not one stadium in this country that can hold all the people that want to come and meet and congregate on that day.
Are you tired of high fees and slow transfer time when sending money? Look no further. Airtel Money is here to revolutionize the way you move your money. We have revised our rates, and now sending money from Airtel to other networks in Uganda, East Africa, and to the rest of the world has never been more affordable. Plus, you can trust Airtel Money to get your money where it needs to go quickly and safely. Simply dial *185# and start sending money. Switch to Airtel Money today and experience unbeatable rates and top-notch services for all your local and international money transfer needs. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Welcome back, and now into the world of sports. Uganda Cranes head coach Mitchell has reduced the provisional squad that is preparing for the 2022 Chan African Nation Championships. After 9 days in residential camp, the coach says the squad is starting to shape, and that's the reason he has to let go of the 7 players.
Igundu Arthur, Rothomio Cornwell, Senoga Kagwa, and Obenchan Philbert are the 7 players that Coach Micho has dropped from the African Nations Championship squad. The coach made this announcement 9 days after the team entered camp as he gave an update on the preparation status of the tournament.
On Friday, practically first and second team will be divided so that we do some tactical aspects in the game, critical phases, to do the set pieces and other related issues that are going with that, how we stand in high block, in mid block, low block when we defend, how we stand, how we do the build up, how we do the progression, and how we enter in finishing as a team. Completing that in Friday afternoon. Saturday we shall have like one more match day also, but now we shall bring some team that will also have advantage in numbers to provide us a sense of international football, because when you play international football we shall play 11 against 11, and in 11 against 11 plus the stress and tension and pressure of the international matches, we are
UBC News Tonight comes to an end, but do join me for our second edition with more stories at 10 p.m. I'm LAURYN Kazimoto. See you at 10.
A very good evening to you. Thank you for joining us here on UBC TV. It is You Health Chat, proudly sponsored by National Medical Stores. Now, I guess you're wondering about why I am dressed the way I am. I'm also like, wow, today I had to follow the rules and procedures. I'm down at Limoni Medical Center, and this is a center that was founded in 2019 by the Komboni missionaries in Uganda. And one of the things they have done is they would like to provide holistic approach in terms of treatment for the in and out patients that come to the center here. Now, when the wonder that has brought us down here is the magical operating theater. It's rare that you get to hear about smaller health centers of this nature come up with a magical theater. So we're like, why not? And then the rules and procedures and the guidelines that you have to follow, like me who has come to take a tour down at the operating theater, is I must dress up in scrubs. So please bear with me, Sophia Matovo today. I'm dressed up in scrubs. I'm not a medical person, but I had to follow the rules and procedures. Now, to take us through the theatrical procedures and possibly why they chose to have an operating theater at a facility that is not as big as a national referral hospital or the health centers which are bigger than that, is none other than Dr. Grace Achan. Doctor, how are you?
Fine, thank you, Sophia. Good evening, viewers. My name, like Sophia said, is Grace Santa Achan. I'm a gynecologist by training. I staff here at Limoni Medical Center.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, I'd like to find out about why would a medical center that is a little bit small, I would say, it's not among those very huge ones, opt to come up with an operating theater of all things as opposed to more admission rooms?
Thank you, Sophia. Yes, Limoni Medical Center, like Sophia said, is a small center. We have a small capacity of about 11 beds. And we are not very old, founded in 2019, but open to the public in 2020, at almost the time when the COVID restriction was about to be instituted. We are a small center, right? I just want us to understand a bit about the background of why we are here. We are situated in Nakawa Division, just close to the church, Mbuya Catholic Parish Church, at Ismail Road. We are within a center of so many people. Nakawa Division has a population of about 360,000 people, and the health institutions that are within Nakawa, there are quite a few. We have the government sponsored health facilities, that is the government hospitals. We have Mbale Hospital, which is within the prison services, and that does not have a functional operating theatre. Their cases of emergency obstetrics are always referred out of Mbale. We have Butabika Mental Hospital, like from the ward, is basically serving those with mental illnesses. We have Naguru, which is the one serving, I should say, it's the center that is serving the whole of Nakawa division, plus other population out of Nakawa division. So given that we are all looking at Nakawa, I mean Naguru, China Friendship Hospital, the population at Naguru is quite overwhelming. There are mothers that the mothers that should be handled as emergency cases could not get access to emergency cases because of the population. Everybody is emergency. So there's a lot of challenge in handling such mothers. So given that we are all looking at Naguru, and the private health centers around in Nakawa division, they are quite costly. An ordinary person within the vicinity, you see where we stay, the Kasokoso slum, the Luzira, the population is quite low resource earners. So they may not afford the private settings around. We have Bethany Women Hospital with a fully fledged theatre, state-of-the-art equipments. We have the same thing in Paragon Hospital. But what does a poor person in the community do? The only thing they have to do is go to Naguru Hospital, where the line is quite long. So our mission of the missionary, the Komboni missionary, is healing the sick. So they came up with the idea, why don't we put a small center, where a small unit where we can have as an operating theater. This will be able to handle the emergency cases that, you know, we see a lot of maternal death, we see a lot of child death because of as a result of delivery. So their aim is we need to reduce the maternal mortality, we need to reduce the infant mortality. So the best is always to have an operating and a functional emergency services, which theatre is with no doubt and urgent and a very, very vital part of the services that should be given. So because of that, we decided to put this theatre to serve our people. To serve them because they should be able to, costs should be able to be, they should be able to afford. We cut a bit of costs. It's not as expensive as the other private setting. It's also not as cheap as Naguru. But given the line at Naguru, some people who can afford the low cost sharing, they can come here and services can be offered to them.
Now, in terms of, I'm not in the medical field, yeah, but in terms of like going through the procedure issues, how are the guidelines and what does the ministry support to authorize and ensure that a small health center like this can be able to, or medical center can be able to have the theater? How easy was this process to go through and for them to give it a tick and qualify it and say it's up to the standards of any other operating theater around?
Yeah, usually, of course, the procedure is that they apply to have a theater. Then, of course, the other things that is necessary for a theater is that the small units with them should be established. It should be there. Like you must have a sterilization, you must have a place where you can't dump the wastages, you must have what is required of a theater. Like this, we have a recovery room, you must have a changing room, you must have the gown, the things that is needed. And these ones, usually you apply and then inspection is done. Inspection is done, and when they see the things are what is required according to the guideline of operating theatre, they usually give. Definitely, in a health center nationwide, we do not have theatres in very small health centers like this one. Yeah, but also the government is in the process of supporting the private partners, yes, in a service delivery. Authorizing a small center like this when everything, the checklist is up to date, is one of the things they should they were able to support. Yeah.
Okay. Now, in terms of the, how do you classify this? What type of operating theatre is this at this facility? Because I believe there are different ones. I've been into an operating theatre once to go through a surgical procedure, and you know, like out of curiosity, you're looking around and you're seeing possibly different things. It's not like any other normal. So what type of operating theatre is this?
This one, I should just say it is a general operating theatre where we handle all obstetric cases that need emergency care. Majorly is the cesarean sections that are commonly done. We offer gynecological operation like hysterectomy and other gyne procedures that are handled. We offer the general surgery. Yes, general surgery, abdominal surgery, all that kind of thing is offered here. So this is more of a general operating theatre. Yes, there are several, but like in highly specialized hospitals like Mulago, you find this is for this kind of operation, this unit is for this kind, this is ICU, this is dialysis, things like that can happen. But this is the standard of a general operation. You can handle anything here, except for the super specialized surgeries that may not be done here.
Okay, so who is in charge of this operating theatre?
The in charge is Grace. She's not here. She's the one that keeps. She's the one in charge. She's the one who ensures that everything is in. It should be as to the required standard.
Is this person also a medical person?
Yes.
Maybe you could break down
trained.
Their role.
Yes, she's trained to work in the theatre. They usually have. They are certified to work in theatre. Yes. So these persons, they are taught the basic principles of management of theatre. Yes, how to sterilize, how to keep the place sterile. Sterile is that away from this bacteria, away from dust, away from all those other things that are not supposed to be here. So they are trained in all forms of care for the theatre. Yeah. So she's a medical person.
Okay. Now I'd like you to tell me why I can not walk into a theatre, assuming I'm the attendant, I'm not the one who is going to go through the process. Why I'm not allowed to walk into the theatre with my ordinary clothes, but I must